Welcome to the Valhalla Filmcast. I am Bryce Thompson. I am here with Brian Hammond and Cody Ryrie. Today we're talking about Bill Paxton. He passed away on the 25th, correct? February 25th. Due to complications through surgery. He's 61 years old. So he's kind of wanted to do a little show to remember him, some of the good things, and just kind of talk about the guy.
Can I just say something straight off the top? It's nice and refreshing to have an actor die of complications in surgery and not overdose.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
It's refreshing to see that, and that's I see that coming from him. Like, I wouldn't expect him to OD or something, but you know, year after year, there's so many tragedies. If he has to die, it's a good way to go, I guess is what I'm saying. So there.
It's reflective of the kind of life he led.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so we're going to name our favorite movies from him and kind of talk about what we liked about that. So, Cody, why don't you lead it off with yours?
Okay, well, we were talking a little bit before we were recording about the kind of role that Bill Paxton performed, and he was not really the lead actor in many films.
Twister was his one.
Wait. Hold on, brain. I got a revelation that's appropriate.
Uh-oh.
The movie where he played the dad who thought he was getting visions
Frailty.
from God.
Frailty.
That's
one of my top five for sure. And he directed that. He directed that, Cody.
We got to talk about Frailty then. I don't know why. I think I was about to make the mistake of forgetting it, and then, you know, as in the film, God reached down and reminded me of Frailty. Okay, so I saw Frailty on a vacation to Georgia once with my high school buddies, and we all watched it. Everybody hated it except for me, and I was lost in, like, revelry afterwards. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. I love the fact that Paxton played it. He played it right down the line. You know, he was not crazy. He was not angry. He was a man who had to follow what God told him. Such an interesting movie. Such a great, like, key central performance. Wow. Well, I'll bring up the one I was going to say before, too. But in Aliens, he is fantastic. In Aliens, it's much more of a role that he usually played as kind of a spice in the soup rather than the main, dish. Because in Aliens, the main draw is Sigourney Weaver. And also you have some other great actors. It's a great ensemble, but he is the comedic relief in the film, and he is so funny. He's the voice of the audience in that film. Every time something happens, he's just freaking out and saying, "We got to get the crap out of here," and it's such a wonderful, kind of light, famous performance. But if you got to name my favorite, it has to be Frailty. It's multi-layered. It's fantastic. Such a unique movie. So, yeah, I'm glad that I was reminded of that in that long pause at the beginning. That's when all of a sudden I was like, wait a minute, what is that movie? It's a great movie. If you want to look up something, you've seen him in other stuff that's a little more famous, like Aliens, definitely pick up Frailty and watch it. It's well worth the watch. Controversial. It may divide the group that's watching it, but I loved it, and it pushed all my buttons in the right way. So, yeah, Frailty's the one I'll pull out with a special mention.
You have to admit that it's a powerful performance regardless of whether you like the content of the film or not. He did an excellent job playing that. So is it my turn, Bryce?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so Frailty is definitely probably my top two. A Simple Plan. It's a film directed by Sam Raimi, starring Billy Bob Thornton, and I forget who else is in it, but it's a great little film about a simple plan that just goes off the rails. It's one of those kind of Fargo-esque type of films. It was actually before Fargo, I believe, but that he did a great job in, and I really like that you brought up Frailty because he plays that creepy religious fanatic really good. I haven't seen Big Love, but I've heard that he is stellar in that television show as well. What's that?
I was like, he's in Big Love. I totally forgot that he's in Big Love. Anyways.
Yeah. So anyways, he does play certain roles really great, and this is where I'm going to get a little controversial. Bill Paxton, I love you. I'm very sorry that you died, but I I have always seen him in the past as like an ensemble actor. Like he can't carry his own film, with a few exceptions that we've talked about. But he's always in those movies that for the longest time I couldn't remember his name. You just knew his face and you see him all the time, but he just kind of blended in. So in all honesty, he's not my go-to guy. I don't go to the theaters to see him, but only in a few instances he really distracted me to where I couldn't enjoy the film. And I think one of those was Twister. I did not like his acting chops.
Hang on.
His
Twister
acting
is not
it.
like Twister is not the movie you watch to like learn about acting from anybody. It's not like he was the sore thumb. I mean, Helen Hunt was right there stinking up the business just along with him. And
I know,
whatever
but it magnified his shortcomings, and I think when I watched that, just seeing his over the top acting, it kind of that's kind of what I remember when I think of Bill Paxton, minus the few films we've talked about. And I would say True Lies is another one that he did a great job in as well.
Oh yeah. He plays the slimy used car guy in True Lies, the one who pees his pants on the edge of the building.
So,
that's...
I don't mean to be a downer, but I'm just being honest. He's a great guy and a great actor.
Even all right. Even Philip Seymour Hoffman didn't get away from Twister totally unscathed, and he's one of the best actors of our generation. So I don't know if you can lay that all at Bill Paxton's feet, but
I know. Okay.
I would say that Bill Paxton, he's a role actor or a role player. If you're going to go into sports lingo, he is a guy that if you put him in the right film or with the right ensemble, with the right director, he's going to blow it out of the water. He's going to do great, and you're going to remember his acting ability. But say he gets into a team or the group of with like Twister, where it's not that great. It's not his abilities aren't going to be able to be manifested, and he's only going to do what he can do. Does that make any sense?
Well, I think you ought to bring up your choice that you were talking about before, because it's a great example of what you're talking about.
Yeah, so my film that whenever I think, because when you think of Bill Paxton, like we've said before, when you see his face, you're like, I've seen him. Where have I seen him? And when I think of it, I think of Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler is the Jake Gyllenhaal movie where he runs around filming crashes and big news stories to sell to the news. And Bill Paxton, his character, kind of introduces Jake Gyllenhaal's character to this idea, and he is so captivating in that movie. I mean, he just does such a good job. He almost, in my mind, if he's not in it, if his character and Bill Paxton isn't in the movie, you've gone nowhere. I mean, the movie can't go anywhere without his character in. I really think Bill Paxton, the role fits him so well, and he just does such a good job at it. It just felt natural. It all felt natural when you're watching the movie.
So what do we learn from this?
Yeah.
We've learned that he plays a really good creepy guy. I mean, we have Frailty, we have A Simple Plan, we have True Lies, the one you just mentioned, Nightcrawler, and Big Love. He plays like this really creepy religious fanatic.
You're forgetting Apollo 13. He was fantastic in Apollo 13, and he just played the Texas astronaut who was worried about his family. And you can go to... You give me that face again, that face about... You didn't like him in Apollo 13? Apollo 13's a flawless movie. He can't have a problem because it's a flawless movie.
He's what I like the least of that film. I'm not saying 13? I hated him. I'm just saying, yeah, absolutely.
Well, Kevin Bacon didn't do a whole lot either. He just kind of floated over there.
I love Kevin Bacon. I love me some bacon. Who doesn't love bacon? We're Americans, man.
I liked Kevin. Bill Paxton felt like he didn't distract me from the film at all. he felt like an integral piece of it that matched the quality of everything else around him. Tom Hanks, Ron Howard's direction, everything else.
Yeah.
I don't know how you think that he's some kind of sea anchor that holds down Apollo 13. That's ridiculous. You are a lone man in the world if you think that about Apollo 13. You may have a point with Twister. The
last time I watched it, I swear I remember there are a couple lines that he delivered that just grated me the wrong way. I'll have to revisit it. I can't recall specifics, and so I know that's a cop-out. I get that. If I'm dishing it out, I need to be able to back it up, but I can't. Because
I don't see this becoming another Planet of the Apes issue because there's not a lot to discuss about it. But we're going to have to agree to disagree on his performance in Apollo 13 at least, because I don't even see where you're coming from in that one. Twister, I get Twister. I think he's part of a whole that's kind of... I think his acting in Twister matches the tone of everybody else's acting. Is it great? No, but everybody's acting was kind of that weird Saturday matinee kind of acting in Twister. But Apollo 13, you're nuts.
That's
I don't know what
probably
you're
fair.
talking about.
No, in all honesty, I'd have to revisit it, but I swear there are a few lines, and I'd have to watch it again.
When he's at the end, he's been dehydrated.
Is that when he's dying? It might be when he's dying.
He's sitting in his seat, and he's shaking, and Tom Hanks is trying to comfort him. Heartbreaking. The whole thing is heartbreaking. And when you have no heart, I guess it's hard to break. So
see, I laughed at that scene. I laughed at that
shots
scene.
Fired.
I'm kidding.
So I guess what we can say about old Bill is that he is an actor that is good at... I would say he's an actor that's good at what he does. You know, if he's put in a role, you know, you're not going to... I mean, how many movies was he actually like the star, like Bill Paxton?
The only one I can think of was Frailty and maybe Twister, because he was kind of the main guy of a group in Twister. But that's about it. I mean, he was a character actor. He was a supporting actor, and I don't know. I don't think that's an insult in and of itself.
No,
I think
he did a great job at it. Yeah,
Yeah,
I definitely think he did a good job at doing what his roles were. Whatever his roles called, that's what he did. And so yeah. All right.
Well, I'm good. We miss you, Bill. You did some great work for us, and I just wanted to, not that you have to like everything he was in. I'm not saying that, and I know that when people die, we tend to rose color everything. But I genuinely liked a lot of the stuff he was in, and it was nice to get to talk about some of his work. And yeah, I enjoyed this. So.
All right. Well, this has been the Valhalla Filmcast. Let us know what you think, and we'll talk to you next time.
The following views, opinions, and commentary are the sole property of the Valhalla Filmcast. Any unauthorized reproduction without prior consent is prohibited. Any incidental music, audio clips, or film trailers are used for the sole purpose of film criticism and commentary as allowed under the Fair Use Act.